Hey there, Scorpio. Welcome to your reading for the week of September 22nd. In your current general energies, you have this relax and reflect card. I love when people tell me to relax. I'm sure you're the same way, Scorpio, but it would be a good time to chill, a good chill week for you probably. So we'll see what comes up. Each row is going to represent something different than what we normally do, except for the first and the last one. So just keep that in mind. I'm going to take this card fell out in my lap with that devil. So we are going to take it. Why not? And we'll see what comes up with that. But yeah, so in your current general energies, you have that relax and reflect card. And it's funny that I just said reflex, basically. I mixed the two words together, but reflex is a word. So, it could be a reflexive week or a week where you're, maybe you shouldn't be, reflexive. You should be more thoughtful of the actions you're taking and the things that you're doing. But overall, looks pretty good. Also, in your current general energies, you have the King of Pentacles, the Knight of Cups, and the Emperor. I don't really feel bad about the King of Pentacles, but I do feel an energy of like, why can't things just stay the same type of energy here on the King of Pentacles. And so, again, I don't feel bad about him, but I do feel he is encouraging you to, kind of evolve, get with the time, so to speak here, Scorpio. And it's okay if there are certain changes you don't like, but, things are hopefully going to change for the better. The King of Pentacles is also a card of wealth building, which I definitely feel you are focusing on. I feel creative ideas would be very good for you, especially as far as wealth in money is concerned. Getting creative. You have the Ace of Wands and the Ace of Swords. The Ace of Wands is very creative. The Ace of Swords is just education, would be about just learning how to be better with your finances. The thing about the King of Pentacles is he has these grapes on his cloak, and the grapes in the tarot represent having a specific skill. And so again, you probably will be focusing on making money with your skills or a skill. I think it's a great time for side hustles, starting side businesses, things like that. So if you've ever thought about doing any of that, it would be a great time to use your skills to make that happen. I also do feel this could be a little bit of love here. Not really a love reading, but I do feel it. I feel that there could be a very stable, secure, probably an earth sign coming in for you. You get earth with me, I'm pretty sure, in almost every single reading. So, definitely could be an earth sign for sure. You have the Knight of Cups, which obviously would be a knight in shining armor. I feel it's a very predictable person. Didn't I just say this to you? I'm pretty sure. In the mid-monthly readings, I'm pretty sure that I said that this person, I get this feeling that at first they might not seem very exciting, but I feel like they are. It's sometimes I think people can be too mysterious, and that's usually a bad thing, right? I feel like this person might be a little predictable, and you might be thinking, oh, this person doesn't really get me excited or anything like that, but I feel like they will. It's just that initial feeling that you have. If you go on one date with this person, you might be like, they're a little predictable, a little bit boring, but at the same time, I almost feel it would be worth it. I'm not telling you what to do either, Scorpio, but it might be worth it to give someone a second chance. I do get that feeling, especially if you're dating or meeting people. I think you'll like this person, and again, definitely after another date, you'll probably find them very exciting. So again, I think this is just a first impression thing, but not in a bad way. It's I am a big believer that we should trust our first gut instinct. But again, I think that your gut instinct on this person, it's not going to be a bad one, up front. I think it's just more predictable, right? And so that's kind of what I get if you're dating. It's also a very dreamy week, especially for water signs. So it's a great week to get creative with your dreams. The Ace of Swords, it's a great time to cut things out. We have this eclipse on the 21st. Every single water sign had the Ace of Swords this week. I'm pretty sure Pisces did. I know Cancer did, but I can't remember Pisces, but I'm pretty sure they did. So, that eclipse that we're having on the 21st, the day before this week starts, of the 22nd, that could definitely be bringing something up, that makes us need to remove something or cut something out. Next, you have the Emperor. I do feel it's a time of control for you, where you're taking control of your life and taking control of opportunity. He has his armor on underneath his cloak, and it kind of represents the fact that he is ready to go at a moment's notice. When an opportunity presents itself, he's going to jump on that opportunity. He's going to take that opportunity and make it happen. And I feel like that needs to be your attitude, that when something happens or when you get an opportunity, that you really make it happen. And that's what I would do with the Emperor. It's like, don't hesitate on opportunities is kind of the message I get with that card. With the King of Pentacles, what do you know? You have the Ace of Wands. See, the thing is that the King of Pentacles, again, not a bad card, but he is maybe lacking a little bit of that creativity. I always say King of Pentacles is a card of convention. So he only does what works. Now, there's nothing wrong with that about doing what works. But what I will say is over time, it can become an issue because, things change in the world, right? So it's like if we never evolve and we don't grow, then we're not going to grow. We're eventually going to reach a point where things kind of plateau or don't improve. And I feel he is encouraging you to make some improvements in work or whatever area of your life you're trying to improve. It does feel financial to me, but again, it's like maybe things haven't changed because they've been the same for too long. And I feel the Ace of Wands is encouraging a new fire. The Ace of Wands is a spark, but sometimes I feel what the Ace of Wands is trying to get us to do is to, build a fire somewhere else in life, get some energy going. And that's what I would do here. I think it would be an amazing time with these two cards to learn how to, improve your finances, grow your finances, try something different, right? With the Knight of Cups, told you have the Knight of Swords. Knight of Swords is running away. I feel, again, I'm not telling you what to do, but I feel it would be worth it to, especially if you're meeting a person this week, to give them a second chance because, it's like, you never know. It's like sometimes people are nervous on a first date. Sometimes people talk too much on a first date because they're nervous. It's like, that's the feeling I get here, but I feel this would be a good connection. I think it would be worth it is what I'm trying to say. Knight of Swords is the card of not jumping to conclusions. I also feel this for work as well. If you're starting something new this week, like a new project or whatever, you're the first thing you do, might not go how you think is what the reading is saying. But it's also saying to me, you should still give it a chance. I think that this is about giving something enough time to blossom. It's like this is a flower, but it's just the flower bud right now. It hasn't actually blossomed yet. And that's what I feel there. With the Emperor, you have the Devil. It seems to me like you're cutting a devil out of your life. You have the Devil twice. The Devil is also control. We have the Devil here. You have several cards of control here, actually. The Strength card is a card of soft control. Really, the Chariot is a card of hard control. And then the Emperor can be controlling. The Devil can also be controlling. The Devil is an energy vampire. It's something that you feel stuck and bound to. And so I do feel with the Ace of Swords, the Ace of Swords is about cutting something out. So for a lot of you, if there's something that is stealing your energy, it's probably time to cut it out. And we'll talk about it. Next, we are going to look at messages from your future self. You have the support card and this cut your losses card, right? So again, it might be a good time to, if something is stealing your energy, to remove it from your life. I feel like nothing here. Not in a bad way. I mean that in a good way. It's like, I don't even think you're worried about cutting whatever this is out. I feel like when you see it, you're going to be like, oh yeah, I need to cut this thing out of my life. And I feel you have plenty of support from people here on Earth, but also maybe your guides, your ancestors, the other side, so to speak, is supporting you in cutting something out of your life. You have the Strength card, the Devil, Ace of Wands, and the Queen of Swords. The Strength card would be about having the strength to walk away from something. We even go Strength, Ace of Swords to the Five of Cups. Five of Cups is showing up in the good stuff, but Five of Cups, he's sad about something he no longer enjoys, and he needs to be grateful for what he has behind him to get something better. So a lot of you, I feel, are being asked to have the strength to release something. I also feel like this is about you taking control. The Ace of Swords is about taking control of your inner voice or your inner demons. That, she is controlling this lion. She is taming the lion, and the lion kind of represents her ego or her inner voice or the devil on your shoulder type of energy. And so I feel a lot of you could be taking control. Next, you have the Devil, which wanted to come out, and then that Ace of Wands. So the Devil is something that you're stuck and bound to. It makes perfect sense to me that the water signs also had the Devil this week because Saturn and Pisces, right? Retrograde, which could be pointing out the areas of your life where you're stuck. But this doesn't even have to be stuck. I feel more plateaued is what I feel with that King of Pentacles. Like if things have stayed the same at, a level plane, a plateau in work or business, and you haven't grown in like years, I feel that's where the reading is asking you to get creative or is asking you to start something new. Could be anything. Maybe your love life hasn't changed, or, maybe your health hasn't changed. The Ace of Wands would be like the new inspiration. Ace of Wands is out with the old, in with the new. And so I feel a lot of you could be like starting something new or thinking about getting into something new that could be very beneficial for you. And I would just get creative with that Ace of Wands energy. And, you're a fixed sign. So I feel that, for some of you, it's about you're going to have to step outside your comfort zone. You're going to have to do things or try things that you've never tried before. That's where the benefits are going to come from here. I also feel like when you remove this control, like whatever it is that's controlling you, it could be your own mind that's controlling you as well. When you remove it, I feel you are going to feel like a major sense of relief here. And that's definitely popping into my head. You have the Queen of Swords. Again, this is pretty good. I actually really like this right here. Queen of Swords to this Ace of Swords to the Eight of Cups. This would be like sudden clarity. And so, like I said, I feel that your future self is saying you are clear on what needs to change or what needs to be removed from your life. And so, again, she's like cautiously optimistic, which, again, I feel is a good energy for you because it says that you probably are making progress with this Knight of Pentacles. You are going to move forward or take advantage of setting yourself free from something that's kept you bound. It's almost like a story that you've been living for a long time. And I'm not saying that, life is meant to be easy, because I definitely don't think it is, but, it's like it doesn't also have to be so hard. And I feel the Queen of Swords to this Ace of Swords is encouraging you to, change those difficult parts of your story that keep you stuck and bound to whatever. And it seems to me like that's what you're doing. Yes, with the Strength card, you have the King of Swords. Crazy. I think all three water signs had the King and Queen of Swords in their readings, which is crazy to me. I just switched decks too. It always, like, I literally have like 10 decks right here. Like I switch every single time. I always say this because it's like, sometimes people ask, are like cards sticking or whatever. I'm like, no, I change every single reading. So it always surprises me when, like a storyline or something repeats. And I don't know, maybe I'm simple. Maybe I just get excited over little things, but it's pretty weird. King and Queen of Swords together are my least favorite divine counterparts. They're like two people who don't see eye to eye. But maybe that's part of it. It's like this eclipse we're having in Virgo on the 21st, even though it's happening a day before the week, it doesn't matter. Eclipses can last for like 6 months after the energy. And I do feel there is something about people with this eclipse for water signs. So it's like maybe water signs should be more careful of who they let into their lives. But I also feel there's a lot of criticism for water signs right now, criticism energy. And, I think the trick is, if it's genuine criticism, like good criticism, of course, listen to it. But if it's just like haters in your life or people who are judging you or whatever, then you might need to put up some boundaries, against that criticism. With the Ace of Wands and the Devil, here you go. You have the Ten of Pentacles. Yeah, Ten of Pentacles is everything you want and desire. A very fixed sign energy right now. The Ten of Pentacles, it has been for years. The fixed signs, because of Uranus and Taurus, fixed signs have been being asked to create, to build and leave a legacy, to build something, to build that true level of security in life and to build something great, So it's like you're working on your great work in life. And that's probably what you're being driven to create at this time. Ten of Pentacles, like I said, is everything you want and desire. It doesn't mean you're going to have it. It just means that you can work towards it and you can get very close, or if not better. The other thing I would say is that the Ten of Pentacles has like an alternative meaning, which is hidden and secret information. And it's not really hidden or secret, but it encourages you to go find answers. Definitely with the Ace of Swords, that was like the first thing that popped into my head with that Ace of Swords, is that there is information that could really set you free, but you're going to have to do your research. This literally could represent like reading a book about something you're trying to improve. There are 6 bajillion videos on YouTube about pretty much everything that exists. So, maybe you need to research some information. It will be worth it with that Ten of Pentacles. Yeah, with the Queen of Swords, you have the Page of Wands. I feel like this is what you want. It's weird, the feeling I get off of this card. It's like you want that life of freedom he has the freedom to follow his enthusiasm, right? He has the freedom to do more of the things that he loves. He is kind of like my card of just being happy-go-lucky, excited by life. And I feel that that is what you are trying to get back to, Scorpio, is that excitement for just whatever, like whatever it is you're doing. It's not even important things. I think just life in general, you're kind of trying to find that like zest for life again. I feel like you are, which is good. It's like you're being led to it with those cards. Next, we're going to look at, anything you don't see coming this week. You have this new moon in Capricorn. It says your hard work is paying off, which is good. You have this new moon eclipse. It says expect powerful change. And we have this eclipse on the 21st. And so I feel for a lot of you, this eclipse might be bringing a bigger change than you expect. Again, this could take 6 months. And, one thing I will say is like the astrology right now is set up for the next 6 months, right? Next year, basically 6 months from now is March. And, between basically pretty much, right? In January, Neptune moves back into Aries. In February, we have Saturn moves back into Aries. We have a lot of things going on between now and then that also kind of like culminate in March, basically, we'll say, right? And so I feel that we're being set up for, this type of change in our lives. But your hard work definitely could be paying off as well. You have the Hangman, the Ace of Swords, and the Knight of Pentacles. Hangman is about new perspectives. We have Uranus and Gemini. Uranus and Gemini is somewhat similar to the Hangman energy. It is about just seeing all the ways there are to do everything in your life. And the Hangman, he is hanging upside down to see things from a new perspective. So, I've been saying this all year that the people that are going to be successful right now are the ones that kind of work with all the energies, the ones that look at all ways of doing things. And that's it. That's what I feel like the Hangman is saying. You have the Ace of Swords. Definitely could be some sort of victory. With that, with this card that says your hard work is paying off. If you've been putting a lot of work and effort into things that you've been working on, which I feel like you have, that could be where the success is coming in for you with the Ace of Swords. I also feel more balance. The Page of Wands. Page of Wands was saying like fun to me, more enthusiasm, more excited for life. And the Ace of Swords can represent balancing things out. And so I feel like the energy is getting a little bit less serious. Again, this is probably something that is going to take until March, but I think little by little, you're going to start noticing that things aren't so serious, or, it's like anything that happens to you, it's not going to be so serious. I feel for a long time, the challenges that come up for Scorpio and the things that you've been dealing with probably are very serious. Even success, right? Even success has maybe required you to take things very seriously. And I feel like that seriousness is being removed here, but not in a bad way. It's like things will still be serious, but, almost in a good way where it's like not so serious, right? And that's what I feel there. You have the Knight of Pentacles. Knight of Pentacles is very good for making progress. So I feel a lot of you are going to be making some significant progress here at this time. And, he needs to plant seeds in this field behind him. But I feel like you are. Sometimes with the Knight of Pentacles, I don't feel progress. Sometimes I do. In your reading, I feel you're definitely making progress. With the Hangman, you have the Two of Swords. Two of Swords is this or that thinking. And again, like I said with the Hangman, usually the truth is over here. And so she's trying to protect herself thinking this or that, but really what's going to happen is going to happen over here. And so this is my card of third place solutions. And that's, those, again, I've been saying for years now that we're in a time of third place solutions. Basically, everybody thinks this or that. But Gemini energy, Uranus and Gemini, is like idea sex. Like, usually the best ideas are two ideas together. And that is what a third place solution is. So I would be looking for solutions no one's ever thought of before in all areas of life. With the Ace of Swords, you have the Five of Cups. This does feel like a truth to me. We have the Five of Cups twice. Five of Cups and the good stuff here as well. So there could be some sort of uncomfortable truth, but at the same time, it's coming up in the good stuff, so it can be good. I always say that eclipses, like if you read old astrology books about eclipses, they will say that eclipses are like a 1-2 punch, meaning that like when an eclipse hits, we can get a truth and it can hurt. But then also at the same time, that truth leads to something greater. And so, that is eclipse energy. It's not, this doesn't surprise me that something like this would show up right before an eclipse, because I'm recording this on the 15th. It'll be published on the 16th, before the end of the week, before we have the Virgo eclipse. With the Knight of Pentacles, here you go, Virgo. You have the Hermit. So the Hermit can, I feel it's definitely time for water signs to shine. I always say this to the water signs. Water signs are the leaders of the future. Water signs have lived through what everybody's about to live through already. It's like your job to be an inspiration to other people. So I feel this card is encouraging you to shine your light, to shine bright this week, and that's what I would do. Next, in the area of the good stuff, you have this All That Glitters card and this Y card. The All That Glitters card says that all that glitters sometimes is not gold, but this is coming up in the good stuff, so you might be getting an opportunity that is better than it appears. Again, could be love for some of you, but it could be anything. The Y card, I feel, is encouraging knowledge, right? There's a book with the wings on it right there. I'm telling you right now, anything you're dealing with, even good things, like, again, I'm not talking just about challenges. And whatever you want to improve in your life, I would be learning as much as you can, because it'll probably give you wings. It'll probably lead to a lot faster progress. You have the Eight of Cups, the Three of Wands, and the Five of Cups. Again, only card in the tarot with an eclipse on it. He is walking away from something, and he's choosing not to settle, basically. These 8 cups do provide him with something in his life, but he knows that if he stayed in the situation, he would be settling. So, sometimes, and I get that feeling from the Eight of Cups, that it basically says don't settle, or make sure that you're not settling at this time. You have the Three of Wands. Three of Wands, the card of expansion and growth and expanding out into the world. So, again, I think it's your time to shine here, Scorpio, or a time where you should be shining. Three of Wands wants us to get out into the world. Like, he's standing where he's always been, and he could get on these boats and go on an adventure. He could go somewhere he's never been before, which I definitely would. I do also feel your ships could be coming in here. You have that, it's funny, you have that relax card. This card here is like, I feel like these two cards are connected, and there's a boat on it. And I feel that some of you have been waiting for something, and I feel it's saying relax. What you've been waiting for is coming, or it's here. So I do like to see that as well. Again, you have the Five of Cups, which we already kind of talked about. I feel like this is the second part of the eclipse. It's like something, you're letting go of something. Maybe at first you're disappointed, but I feel very shortly, like very quickly, you are going to see the blessing in whatever it is. He needs to be grateful for what he has. Then he gets this bridge and this castle. So he gets something better by changing his focus. And I feel like that's what you need to do here. With the Eight of Cups, you have the World. The World is an accomplishment or an achievement. So do you have... Oh, no. For some reason, I thought you had it twice. But the World, is about getting out into the world as well. But I also feel it's like you're finally accomplishing something. Again, it makes sense because you have this card that says your hard work is paying off. And I kind of get the same feeling here with the World. With the Three of Wands, yes, you have the Knight of Wands. Page of Wands, Knight of Wands energy is like going to be your secret sauce right now, Scorpio. Being willing to be spontaneous, finding other ways of doing things in life, exploring, adventuring. Those are all things that I would be doing if I were you, Scorpio. Digging into mysteries, right? Digging into a mystery would be learning. Instead of allowing something to be a mystery, learn about it. Get to the bottom of it, and you'll probably be surprised at what you discover. With the Five of Cups, here you go. 10 of Cups. Fortune after difficulty, right? Happy home, happy family. For those of you that want love, this reading looks very good. Definitely could be a lot of love success for you, but I really feel that's just talking about fortune after difficulty. Like I said, here's the difficulty, here's the fortune. It makes, to me, it's a very obvious eclipse thing, and especially for water signs, with this one being in Virgo. You have this ladder card. It says climbing towards success. Yes, I definitely feel that we see tons of successful cards here. Ace of Wands, Ace of Swords, World, even the Emperor, 10 of Pentacles, 10 of Cups, So clearly you are making improvements or climbing towards success. You have this elephant. It says a long journey, either physical or mental, will leave you wiser at the end. I feel you need to go on a journey. It's like you're building something new, or you're leveling up in some way. And I feel, obviously, that's what the whole entire reading wants you to do. You have this grapes card. It's funny that you have this grapes. I was talking about the grapes on the King of Pentacles. It says time to go out and have fun. Page of Wands. Page of Wands wants to be happy-go-lucky. He wants to enjoy life. But sometimes we have to do that first before we can attract more enjoyment into our lives. I always tell the story. I was stuck in my room for 4 years after a big business failure I had when I was younger. And I was like punishing myself. I wasn't going out and having fun. I wasn't doing anything. And I have never been so stuck in my life. It wasn't until I started having fun that good things started happening. So it's like, I think we have to, feed that energy first before, you might be saying, I can't have fun. I don't have money. I don't have this. I don't have that. But it's like, you have to go do that first before those things can show up in your life. You have this desk card that says, pay attention to your work. I feel you are. I feel work is changing for you, Scorpio, which is good. And you have this gong. It says an exciting event. Yes, Page of Wands wants to be excited. He follows his excitement, his enthusiasm. And that's what I would do here. But pretty straightforward stuff here, Scorpio. Looks good. So thank you for being here. And definitely enjoy your month.